Okay, so let's go ahead and lie down on our back. We'll start the same way we start our day, in bed. We'll tuck the shoulders underneath the spine, allow the palms to fall open by the hips, and then just letting the toes fall out to the side. Take a deep breath in through the mind. Exhale, breathe down your whole body. Let's do 2 more like that. Inhale deep into the body. Exhale, releasing it down and out through the feet. And if you haven't, maybe do this last one through the mouth. So inhaling through the nose first. Exhale out through the mouth. And as you lay here, let go of your eyebrows, unfurrow your eyes. Let the eyes sink back into their sockets, taking your awareness with you. Start to travel with your breath deeper into your body and scanning any areas of tension, pain, stagnation. Taking any mental notes you may need. And then also noticing the places that feel open, at ease, maybe fluid. Where do those reside in the body? How do they feel? And after you've taken your notes and your self-adjustments, start to set an intention for yourself. What's going to fill your cup the most? Maybe at the end, if you remember it, you can type it in. My intention is to soften and to not push myself to my extreme. My intention today is to dial back 30% in my poses and see how that affects my practice, as well as my body and my mind throughout the rest of the day. So once you set your intention, feel it in your heart as though we're already true, your cells vibrating in response to this truth. And then we'll start to deepen our breath, breathing life into the toes and the fingers. We'll wiggle the wrists and the ankles, knees and elbows, and you can take your arms overhead for a full body good morning stretch, maybe pointing through the tops of the feet, and then flexing back through the heels, and make a big star shape, trying to take up as much space as you can. We'll lift your right hip up and over to the left while extending through the right arm. And then go ahead and lower that hip down. Inhale, lift the left hip up and over, stretching back with the left hand. And lower that down. One more inhale. Try to stretch apart as though you're Laffy Taffy, and then slowly coming into a little fetal position, grabbing your knees, laying on your back. Just notice the difference between that sensation of expanding outward and now contracting inward. How does that affect your nervous system, your brain? And then when you're ready, we'll scoop behind the knees, coming into a little bit of a tuck. You can slowly start to rock and roll up and down the spine. Only if this feels good though, you don't have to. We'll eventually make our way up to a kneeling position. So let's go ahead and come into tabletop. So we're going to place the hands right underneath the shoulders. Spread the fingers wide and pull the fingers in towards your wrists, as though you're trying to rip your mat back towards your face. And I always have this tendency to hyper lock my joints. I have really mobile joints. So my practice is softening at the joints, wrapping in. I want to make sure that we're using muscle here and not bone stacking. This is an acro. And then we'll take our knees right underneath our hips. And we'll do a little bit of a cat-cow here to warm up the spine. So as I inhale, my tailbone lifts first, and then that allows my chest to fall. I'm going to turn to the side just so you can notice this. I want each vertebrae to articulate this movement. So again, as I inhale, the tailbone initiates the movement first, which then lowers the belly, and then my collarbones broaden as my heart pulls through my shoulders. The back of the neck stays long. If I crunch, I'm not really doing anything for myself here, so stay nice and long. And as you exhale, the tailbone is the first to initiate the movement, which then lifts the low belly, tucking the low ribs. You can round the spine, looking back at your belly button. Again, keeping a nice long neck. I'm not super crunching in here. And then moving at your own pace. Don't wait for me to tell you when to breathe or when to move. Let your breath guide you into each movement. You can even reverse by breathing in on your cat, exhaling to a neutral spine. You can wag your tail. You can make spiral motions. This is your yoga. When a teacher says, hey, do some cat-cow, you don't actually just have to do the cat-cow. Whatever your body is calling for is your cat-cow. If you want to get crazy with that cat-cow, you get crazy with that cat-cow. As long as it's connected to your breath, it's yoga. Beautiful. So now we'll go ahead and come to a more neutral tabletop here. And we're going to play with a little bit of contracting the core while expanding out. Hatha. Ha means sun, thought. Ha translates to sun, Tha translates to moon. So it's a practice of duality. How can we live peacefully in duality? So I'm going to engage my core by lifting up from the pelvic floor into the low belly into the low ribs, which naturally rounds my spine. And then I'm going to inhale, lengthen from tailbone to scalp while holding on to that engagement. So I didn't just let go and expand. I still have everything really contracted here. And notice if this builds some heat in your body. Make sure your elbows are micro bent and really pulling in. You're active in your shins. Breathing into the chest. Beautiful. And then on your next inhale, we'll lift that left leg back and behind us. I'm going to stay turned to the side because I feel like you can't really see what I'm doing all the way here. So make sure you don't lose your low belly. We're going to pick that up and then extend heel to scalp, really stretching long here. Inhale, exhale, curl, knee to nose. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, curl. Inhale, lengthen. Once more, exhale, curl. Inhale, lengthen, keeping that belly engagement here. See if you can play with extending your right arm out this time. Hold here, and then inhale, let your belly drop. Let that leg and arm lift just a little bit more. Then, if it's possible, you can bend your back knee. If that feels good, maybe we can reach for our ankle, thumb on the inside, pointing up towards the ceiling. Micro bend in that standing arm. If you're here and you're comfortable, you can push that foot into your hand. See how that pulls me away? Now I'm going to keep pushing while I then reach my heart back towards the front of my mat. I'm pushing, but I'm pulling. I'm finding the balance in the duality. Breathe. One more inhale. Exhale, nice and slow. We're not slingshots. Just the right arm is going to reach to the earth. We're going to re-extend that leg, setting our toes down to the earth, and then lowering to our forearms. Soft bend in this knee as we press our heel towards the earth. So again, I'm going to make sure you can see what I'm doing. My toes are tucked down, and almost like a runner's stretch, I'm pressing into that heel. So we're breathing deep here down the back of the leg. Maybe on the next inhale, just open the calf and the hamstring up towards the ceiling a little bit more. Again, not locking out any joints. You can shift back and forth. You can move that ankle around, always nice and slow and mindfully, of course. Explore. And then on your next exhale, we're going to shift back forward onto our hands and knees. And again, finding that core engagement, holding on as we lengthen out. Breathing here, finding that heat. And then on your next inhale, keeping that engagement as the right leg lengthens along behind you, heel extending from scalp. Breathe. One more inhale. Exhale, curl, knee to nose. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, curl. Inhale, open. Exhale, curl. Inhale, lengthen. And then again, we're going to pause here. If you can, this isn't mandatory for yoga. I'm not your curve, but if it's possible, let's go ahead and lift that left arm, extending it out as though you're trying to reach into the camera to grab my hand. Inhale and then exhale. Let's bend our back knee. Can we reach for our foot? Thumb up. Grabbing our ankle. If this feels good, micro bend, that elbow again. And then push into your foot. Pull back through the heart. Breathe. If you're losing your breath, back off. Let your breath indicate if you're too far into a pose, you need to stay connected. One more inhale. Exhale, nice and slow. Release the left arm to the earth. Kick that leg straight back behind you. Toes tuck under as you set it to the earth, lowering to the forearms. And then again, shifting our weight into that heel and then playing around. Does this even feel good for you? If it doesn't, you can go into a child's pose, anything that feels right. All yoga teachers only ever offer suggestions. None of these are mandatory. Staying connected with my breath, breathing to wherever I feel the tension, exploring the different areas of my body and my leg. Beautiful, and then on your next exhale, we're gonna shift forward, bringing our knee underneath us now, taking our knees just a little bit wider than our hips, as though we're gonna go into a wide-legged child's pose, but instead we're actually gonna walk our hands out in front of us, keeping our hips over our knees. We're gonna lower our chest to the earth, puppy pose. So here, you can either have your chin lifted or tuck your forehead to the earth, but then I'm gonna pull my shoulders down my back and gently wrap my low ribs in. And then now I'm gonna lift my hips back and apart. See if you can soften and melt here. If you happen to have a block with you, you can always place one right underneath the chest. Deep breaths. We're here for yoga. Where do you feel the tension? Can you expand that area with oxygen? And release it all on the exhale. One more inhale here. And then exhale, we'll go ahead and shift forward onto our belly, moving any props that we have to the side. We'll go ahead and really extend our feet back behind us. Make sure that your toes are pointed straight back versus turning in. And then we're gonna press into the tops of our feet so much that our knees lift off of the mat. And I'm gonna press the front of my hips down into the earth. Now, as you can see, that already kind of naturally lifts me up. I'm gonna have my hands just underneath my shoulders, no weight or in my palms. If you need some support from your hands, go for it. But we're gonna try for a little bit of a back strengthener. So inhale here, exhale out. Inhale, press and lift. We're gonna squeeze the belly, which again gives me a little bit more lift. I'm not squeezing my belly here, and then now I'm squeezing. Beautiful, breathe into the chest. Exhale, lower. Inhale here. Exhale. Inhale, press and lift. Breathe. Inhale. Exhale, lower. Beautiful. Now we're going to take our fingertips just underneath our elbows with our elbows flared up towards the ceiling. And same thing, really pressing into the tops of those feet and into the pelvis. On your next inhale, we're going to really push into the hands to lift the torso to a comfortable height. Again, not crunching, back of the neck stays long. Then I'm going to exhale, dip my right shoulder to try and touch it to the earth so I can look at my left elbow. Inhale, peeling up, lengthen tailbone from scalp. Exhale, left shoulder dips to look at the right elbow. Inhale, tailbone lifts, lengthening up through the scalp. And then 2 more times each side on your own. Exhaling to dip. Inhaling to lift like a wave. Exhale. Inhale. And then last set. Inhaling up to center. Exhale, lower. Beautiful. We're gonna now plant our palms down. Maybe put them a little bit more in front of your elbows. And then inhale, really press into the palms. Roll those shoulders back and down. Just a gentle, a little bit more of a passive stretch here. One more inhale. Exhale, lower. We'll go ahead and bring our palms underneath our shoulders. Tuck our toes, scoot your knees forward up to our hips, which lifts our bottom. And then exhale, press back into a child's pose. So I'm pulling my tailbone down towards my heels, reaching my scalp in the opposite direction. Really lengthen long here. And you can play with knees together or knees wide. It's up to you and what's feeling good for you in your body. I'm kind of feeling like maybe knees wide right now. And then we'll take another full round of breath here. And on your next inhale, walk your hands long out in front of you, shifting into your hands. We'll go ahead and tuck your toes. I'm gonna turn this sideways real fast, just because I feel like you can see better from the side. So when I go into my downward dog, I always like to set up my downward dog from my plank. So my hands are underneath my shoulders, my legs are extended long behind me, and then from here, I'm gonna bend my knees and shift my hips back. So people always think that in down dog, we gotta try for the straight legs as much as possible, but that's really not the case here. I keep mine nice and bent, shoulders plugged down the spine, and then always micro bend in the elbows. I'm reaching my scalp back towards my fingertips. So I'm feeling again that contracting, that pulling and pushing, extending out. So once that base is all set up, ears are in line with the arms, then I'm going to imagine my heels melting towards the earth, even though again I still have this deep bend in my knees, and then inhale, energetically lift your hips away from your heels. Again, we don't have to lock out. This is my first down dog, so my hamstrings are pretty tight. So what I like to do is just inhale, lengthen, never locking. So you notice how all of a sudden my knees just clicked into my leg. I've cut communication off with that part of my body. And then exhale to bend. Inhale, breathe and lengthen, lifting the tailbone like a happy dog. Exhale, soften. Let's do that a couple more times. Inhale, breathe and lengthen. Exhale, soften. Last one, inhale, breathe. Exhale, soften. Beautiful. Inhale, lift the left leg long behind you, keeping the pressure even in both hands. Nice engaged core. Exhale, shift your weight into your palms, curling knee to nose. Inhale, lengthen back. Exhale, step your left foot through between your hands, lowering that back knee down. Come up onto your fingertips or a block. And then energetically pull that left hip back, right hip forward. I'm really reaching my heart through my shoulders. Collarbones are broad and lifted. Breathe here. Wonderful. Get really strong in your legs. You can set the top of your back foot down. And then inhale, lift the torso with the strength of your legs. You can reach your arms up here. Inhale. Exhale, pinch your elbows behind your back, opening the heart. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bend. Inhale. Exhale. Beautiful. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, straighten your front leg and reach your hips back towards your heel. Again, I have a micro bend. I'm not locking out. And we are like trees. We are not statues. You can move around. Feel what feels good for you. Point and flex, windshield wiper. Ooh. And when you find your stretch, breathe, hang out into it. I'm sending my breath to the inside of my thigh here. I'm sending my breath to my IT band down by my calf. These are where I feel my tension points the most. I want to reestablish my connection. Beautiful. One more deep inhale. Exhale, we're going to shift back forward into that lunge. Retuck those back toes. I'm going to plant my hands right in front of my foot, and then see if you can use, or I'm actually going to push into those back toes too, lift that back knee up. Then I'm going to really press into this front foot here, and then kick that back leg up into a standing split. So this is a fun thing that I just learned from my standing splits. We are going to micro bend the standing leg, and then really bend that free leg that's up there. I'm going to bring my knee close into my belly and then press the sole of my foot up towards the ceiling. I'm going to breathe here, exhale. Inhale, try to push that heel up towards the ceiling a little bit more. Exhale, release. Inhale, press and lift it up. Exhale, lower. One more, inhale, press that heel up. Exhale, lower. And then this time, press the heel up, and then now extend that leg out. Woo! Right hip turning down, left hip turning back, heart melting through. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bend both knees, step your right foot to meet your left, forward fold. Beautiful. Now, my hamstrings, it's not really my hamstrings, it's the fascia around my hamstrings that happen to get really tight. So sometimes forward folds are just really uncomfortable for my legs. Standing forward folds, I just feel like this intense tightness and pressure. I don't even know how to explain it really, so I kind of have to move around in my forward fold. Just like we did with our down dog, I kind of got to warm up the fascia, open it up some. So what I'm doing is I'm keeping my heart in the same place, collarbones broad. And then just the hips are energetically lifting up and away from the heels. Beautiful. And then next we'll halfway lift on your inhale, lengthening tailbone to scalp. Are you still grounded in your feet? So micro bending the knees, heart is open. Breathe here. Exhale, fold. Inhale, deep bend in the knees, sweep the arms up, chair pose. Breathe here, inhale. Exhale, press the ground away, coming into mountain. Pause and notice your breath. Notice the energy in your body, the temperature, how grounded you are in your feet. And then on your next inhale, we're going to sweep the arms up overhead, gentle back bend. Exhale, hinge at the hips, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen long. Exhale, plant your hands, step your feet back into a high plank, or if you need to be in a low plank, that's fine. Just keep the hips forward. And then we're going to shift forward, bending those elbows halfway, either plank, chaturanga. Inhale, pull through. Again, you can have the legs lifted or lowered. Back of the neck stays long. Exhale, tuck your toes, lift that low belly, press into downward dog, paddle your feet, take what you need here. Deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Find your tree swaying motion, explore your body with your breath. And then when you're ready, on your next inhale, we're going to lift the right leg, extend long from heel to scalp, scalp reaching towards those fingertips. Exhale, shift forward, knee to nose. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step your foot between your hands. If you have trouble getting it there, you can always grab the back of the ankle and help step it forward some more. We're going to lower that back knee down, coming to the fingertips or to some blocks. Peel that right hip back, left hip forward. Heart is lifted, collarbones are broad. Breathe. And then if you're ready, if it's available, use the strength of your legs to inhale, lift the torso. One more inhale. Exhale, pinch the shoulders behind the back, keep the back of the neck long. Inhale up. Exhale. Inhale up. Exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale, straighten that front leg as you send your hips back. Again, micro bend. Explore, where do you feel this stretch the most in your body? Once you've kind of figured out your favorite spot, or maybe you toggle between a few, we're just going to breathe here. Wherever you feel the tension, just reestablishing connection with our breath. So anytime we feel pain, or even things like sadness, anger, depression, it's just information. Our body is just trying to tell us a message. So it's not necessarily bad, but if we want to stop feeling the pain or any of the negative emotions, we have to allow ourselves to really feel it, breathe into it, and say, what's this for? Where is this really coming from? Because then we're able to peel back the layers and heal what's underneath the surface that keeps festering the wounds. And then when you're ready, we're going to shift forward on our next exhale, reframing that front foot, tucking those back toes. Lift your back knee so you really feel the strength in both feet. Now we're going to press into that front foot and make sure I don't disappear off the screen when that happens. And then lift our back leg, standing split. I like to keep the standing leg nice and buoyant, even when I'm in like tree pose and stuff. Now we're going to bend our free leg, really hug it into our hip, and then inhale, try to lift our heel, keeping that foot flat, up towards the seal and some more. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. This time we're gonna inhale, lift, and extend. Woo! Peel that right hip back towards the left. We might lose some height, that's okay. Allow your heart to melt forward and down. Breathe. Extend from heel to scalp, melting the heart. Inhale. Exhale, bend both knees, step your feet together, forward fold. Ooh. Taking what you need here, you can even grab opposite elbows, so whatever you usually grab, switch it around. And then we'll inhale, halfway lift and lengthen. My heart opens, my collarbone broadens. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, deep bend in the knees, sweep the arms up. Press into your feet as though you're trying to dig a hole into the earth with your legs. And then gently set the tailbone underneath the hips. I'm not tucking here. I'm just trying to sit down, right? Breathing. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Hanging out here for a moment. Like, what time are we at? Oh my gosh, okay, we're about that time. It's in 30 minutes. So let's go ahead and wind it down now. I could go forever, couldn't you? I love yoga. So now we'll inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, go ahead and soften your ears. Heel toe, I'm gonna face you now. Heel toe, those feet apart just a little bit, toes out. Heels right underneath the hips. Exhale, sink down. Bring your palms together, pressing your elbows into your knees. And then now, instead of just hanging out here, see if you can push into your feet just a little bit more to engage. Beautiful. Heart is lifting, collarbones are broad. I'm gonna see if I can stay like this so I can turn to the side, and then I'll show you what we're gonna do next. There we go. Now, as slow and controlled as you can go, maybe bring your arms up to zombie, and then exhale, slowly set your bottom to the earth. Nice. Then we'll take our legs long out in front of us, widen our hips on the earth. We'll take heel to hip, knee stacking on top of our other leg. If that's way too intense and you can't reach there, you can always keep your ankle right above your knee, not on top of your knee, or make a figure four. So whatever's available to you, I'm not your curve. We're gonna inhale, sit up tall. If this is your stretch, especially when you start activating those toes, spreading them wide towards your face. If this is your stretch, hang here, but if we're ready, we're gonna act as though we have wood pegs on our hips, growing really long from our spine. I'm just gonna hinge at those pegs. Almost like a door, swinging on a door frame, right? So this is my yoga, this is where I'm at. Take one more inhale, lengthen long. Exhale, point your toe and round forward. I'm not curling in, I'm just rounding more forward and down. See if you can start to let go of any bones or muscles. If you have to run, thank you so much for practicing with me, but maybe we'll have another 5 or 10 minutes of cool down, just because I don't want to just let you go and you be all hyped up. So if you have time, yay, just breathe, relax. If you're running off to work, I love you and I hope you have a great day. May you smile all day. And then on your next inhale, we're going to bring that gaze forward, slowly sitting up, taking that right foot out to meet our left. You can paddle, windshield wiper. Sitting up nice and tall once more, resetting the hips if you need to. Now my left heel is going to come up by my right hip. Again, setting it wherever might feel good for you. Might even be different on this side than the last side. So we're going to grow nice and long as though our tailbone was a root and our spine was a branch or a trunk. And then exhale, hinging with nice engaged toes. This is where I'm at. If I wanted to push myself that extra 30%, I could be there, but I run the risk of causing like a whiplash effect in my body, which isn't fun, and that's something I have to rehabilitate. Or I might deal with some sort of wonky hip thing while I walk today, and that's not cool either. So I'm just gonna take it one breath at a time. Also, let me know if 30 minutes is not long enough, too long, if you prefer 45 minutes, 5 minutes. I want to start doing more of these, but I want to accommodate everyone's schedules, and I could yoga for like 3 hours and be so happy. But I understand people have lives and schedules and they're not just yoga teachers all day, so let me know if this works for you. Or if not, what does. And then exhale, point your toes rounding forward. Again, I'm lengthening tailbone to scalp. I'm not curling my nose into my belly. I always really feel this stretch along the top of my shin whenever I point my toe. I love to give myself a little self-massage, really working out the fascia. A lot of the times you have open muscles, but the fascia is what's like shrink wrapping around you, and you have to break that apart so you can find that flexibility and freedom again. And then we'll inhale, lift our gaze, slowly sit up, take our left leg out to meet our right, paddle, windshield wiper, reset the foundation, our hips. And then sitting up nice and tall, flexing those toes. I have a micro bend here if you have a tendency to, if you have hypermobile joints, you can always lay a towel or a rolled up blanket or something underneath there. But again, I have the hinge, nice flat back, and allowing my breath to guide me into the pose. Every time I inhale, I go long. Every time I exhale, I soften if possible. Well, I always soften, but maybe if you can go deeper, if it's available. And then one more inhale to really grow long from tailbone to scalp. Exhale, point your toes, rounding through the spine, grabbing wherever you can reach, and I gently pull through. This is a passive stretch here. Again, I'm not pushing to the point of straining or pain. I'm just feeling a nice stretch, which, yeah, can be considered uncomfortable, but not painful. Always with the breath. And then inhale, slowly sitting up. Exhale, we're gonna send our hips down towards our heels and then lay back. Finding our Savasana once more. But first we'll bring our knees into our chest and then set our heels to the earth, gently windshield wipering side to side. And then bringing those knees back to center. Hug your knees into your belly. Wrap your arms around your shins. Give them a nice little hug. If you want to kiss your knees, thank you, knees. You help me walk, run, yoga, stand, work, play. And then exhale, release everything to the earth, tucking the shoulders underneath the spine, palms open by the hips, feet falling out to the sides. Start to unfurl your eyebrows. Release the eyes back into their sockets. And as your eyes shift deeper into your head, so does your awareness deeper into your body. Deeper, sinking deeper. And just checking in once more with your breath. Can you still feel those areas of tension or pain? Have some of them shifted to areas of ease? Have new ones arose? How does your body and mind feel after this practice? What might have been helpful or hurtful for you? These are all important notes to take, so when we go onto our mat next time, we know what to watch for. We know how to better practice our yoga to best serve ourselves, to best fill our cups. And then we'll start to wiggle the toes and the fingers, the wrists and the ankles, knees and elbows. Arms reach overhead for a full body stretch once more. Maybe taking that star shape again, spreading wide. Take up as much space as you can, lifting one hip up. Oh, and then the other hip. Any morning noises? Wow. Then we'll go ahead and roll to one side, coming into a fetal position. Taking a moment to honor our bodies with love and gratitude, for they do so much for us without being asked or told how. Thank you, body. Love you, body. And we'll go ahead and extend the top leg, press into our top hand to come up to a comfortable seat with eyes closed or soft gaze. Palms come together at the heart. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. May we go out into the world knowing that those who hurt others are only truly hurting inside themselves, so they need our love and compassion that much more. Let's go ahead and lift our heart up to the sky. Exhale, bow our mind to our heart, bringing our thumbs to our third eye. May we think, listen, speak, and act from our heart. The love and light in me recognizes and honors the love and light in each of you and everyone, everything. Namaste and amen. Thank you guys so much for practicing with me today. It really means the world. Again, I'm sorry. Thank you for your patience as we went about 10 minutes over. That's not bad. I just get going and I'm like, I don't want to stop. So again, let me know if you like a longer yoga practice, or if you're like, Joy, I got 5 minutes and that's it, I'm out the door. Please, I can totally do that too. So yeah, I love you guys. Thank you so much. Please let me know what your intentions were, or if there's anything that felt better after the practice, or if you have any questions about a pose or anything like that. I'm totally here for you, and so is that. Mr. Zeppelin, yeah, say hi to everybody. Zeb says hello.